Okay, so let's get this going. So, my name's Josh. I'm sure if you're following me or watching me, you probably know who I am. Stupid beginning, but nonetheless, I'm a little nervous about this because over the last, month, I've been noticing this whole decline in, I don't want to say customer service because it's the public being so rude to customer service people. In the handyman company, our guys are great. Okay, they've the three guys we have right now are experienced. They do great job. They take great care of customers. They've done, each of them have done so many jobs and they have years of experience. Okay, so it's not can you install a fan? It's how many hundreds of fans have they installed? How many hundreds of TVs have they mounted? How many, tons of drywall repairs have we done? Outlets, caulking, faucets, garbage disposals. We have like a top like 10 or 15 jobs that we get called out for daily, basically, right? So that's why we created our website, to make everything out in the open. We're an hourly company. We can't control if things go over, but the handyman will talk to you the moment and show you on site if it goes over and why. We don't just arbitrarily go over. We get your permission. We have actual appointments. Like, we don't do windows. The guys take payment at the end, right? And they even verify the job beforehand. They try to get the 5-star Google review. The last thing they do is take payment. And yes, we require payment before we leave, because that's our protection. The moment we leave, it turns into a he said, she said, and we're not a collections company, and we're not going to do the he said, she said. The office does not take payments. We have nothing to do with the payments because we're not there on site. We have 3 different handyman. Each of them are doing 3 to 4 jobs per day, right? So at the end of the day, they are accountable for their jobs, their customer service, and the work they provide. We never bite off more than we can chew, and it's up to the handyman to make sure that they properly communicate anything and everything to the owners. While at the same time, we're a basic company. We're a handyman company. We don't want to do hard stuff. We're not looking for big jobs. You know what I mean? Under $1,000, we're happy, right? So we've done 4,000 appointments plus in just the last 3 years. Okay, we've been in existence about 6 total, but in the last 3 years, March 2020, call it what you will. Okay, since March 2020, 3.5 years, we've done 4,000 appointments. Okay, those 4,000 appointments, we've learned a lot of different things. We've implemented a lot of new policies. We've gotten better, and we've perfected and are constantly perfecting what we do. But I hate to say it, in 4,000 appointments, we've gotten burned. Oh, and that's just who's paid us. That doesn't include the cancellations or, the other ones that go to collections or whatever. So we've done more, actually. So let's say 4,000 appointments. It's actually made up of less than 3,000 customers. Okay, so a good amount of our customers call us back, which is amazing. All right, and that's what we thrive off of, from the real estate community, property management companies, the public. We just love to help people in the capacity that we can. And I'll be the first person to tell you, it's impossible to find great handymen. I've brought in probably 200 handymen over the last 3 years, and have 3. Okay, they so many of them are the problem, and that's what I'm trying to get at ultimately with this video. Circling around, coming to it. We are the breakthrough in the handyman industry. Okay, our company has very good policies and procedures, both from the public and for the handyman, to keep everybody accountable, right? We record every phone call to ensure A, the staff is given our disclosures like we're supposed to, and then B, it's a recording of the customer agreeing to our terms and conditions, right? We're hourly. We charge this much an hour. This is just a guesstimate. You know what I mean? Like, he verifies everything on site. We take payment before we leave. We have a 24-hour cancellation policy. We have all of our stuff. Boom, right? But at the same time, it's there to also protect the customer, right? So the handyman verifies the jobs, okay? He is supposed to look at the owner at the end of that appointment and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, did I do a good job? And the owner is supposed to say yes or no. And if they say no, the handyman needs to fix it. They need to take care of the customer. If the customer says yes, then we try to get that 5-star Google review, because that is our goal. We want raving fans at the end, right? But people are so jaded with the construction industry or the handyman industry, whatever you want to call it, that they automatically assume the worst. And even though we disclose to them that the handyman is their handyman, we're not a contractor company. This isn't like the pest control company where they're all W-2 and they just go out and spray for bugs and then go home. No, these guys are doing work on their own. You need them to be confident in what they're doing. They can't have a scapegoat in the office. You don't want them to have a scapegoat in the office. You want to make sure that that person right there in front of you is doing a great job. That's what we do. We only have our 3 handymen, okay? But our 3 handymen are relying on us for their full-time jobs. Therefore, we book their days, right? They do 3 to 4 jobs per day, 5 days a week, okay? So yes, we are a company, but they are still 1099 because they are their own expert. Just because Dave can do tile doesn't mean Marco can do tile. And just because Marco might be great at plumbing does not mean that Bruce is just as good. You know what I mean? Each of them have their own niches, and that's the way it should be. You want the person who's most experienced, most comfortable doing your job, and you want them to be accountable on site with you to make sure you're happy. And that's what we're set up for. And the work's warranted. So we take payment at the end, verify you're happy with the work. It's already completed. You should have no reason to pay if everything went well. After we leave, if anything does happen, you call us up. We will gladly come out and take a look at it, you know, and make it right if need be. So we are 100% geared for accountability and customer service. Problem is, people don't want to necessarily be honest with their handyman on site. They hear us say that, but then they think, I'll tell him okay, and then I will call the office. Or I will kick out this handyman and call the office. Nobody said the office can help them or control anything. Nobody did, ever. We very literally said the handyman is the handyman, right? I know everything about scheduling. I know the customer factor systems. I know how we finagle times. I know I know all the systems behind. I don't know how to texture a wall. That's a lie. I kind of know how to texture a wall, but you would not want me to fix a hole in your wall or anything electrical related or so many other things, because I'm not a handyman, right? So when they come out, they communicate with you every step of the way, okay? So if a fan happens to take an hour, that's more than what we said. And the handyman will communicate with you why. There's obviously a reason why it went over. Same thing, if it went 15 minutes under, you get the benefit of it going 15 minutes under. You know what I mean? We try to be accurate. We can't give worst case scenarios because we'll never get the jobs. And we can't underbid stuff because we'll have a bunch of unhappy people. So it's imperative that we try to be as accurate as possible. So if you say 2 fans in a faucet, will be like 45, 45, 30, or 45, 45, 45, depending on what type of faucet. So we would naturally book that for like 2.5 hours or so, right? And the first call I want you to hear is from 2 days ago. Okay, we have 3 days in a row of customers. This is why I'm now making this video, okay? So 2 days ago, we had a customer call the office, okay? Now, well, I'll just play it. You hear it. And let me really start off by saying I'm not doing this because I'm perfect. Okay, I'm not proud of a lot of what you hear here, and that's why I'm making this video, because I finish my days feeling like I got hit by a truck. I'm not trying to be defensive, but I am defending us at this point in time because I'm feeling so attacked. And that's why I think the problem, why are people attacking us? We're not trying to do anything bad. We are sincerely trying to be happy. So when we tell them that the office can't help them, and I need to find another way of saying it, obviously, I hear that now, right? But if the office is not their boss, we're not trying to not have accountability. There is 100% accountability there, but it falls with the handyman. Why don't they want it to? And I know I could give you ideas why. I'd love you to tell, why do you think customers don't want to be honest with their handyman, right? And obviously that kind of leads to, it's always easier to talk to somebody behind their back. I'm not saying we're trying to be shady behind people's backs. but it is sincerely always easier to speak about somebody not to their face. It just is. That's why gossip is so prevalent. So here's call number 1. Okay.
Handyman Services. Josh, I can help you.
Hey, Josh, it's Jennifer Miller, and I've got an email coming to pay the bill. Do you have that email in front of you?
I don't. It's the handyman that takes the payment?
No, he didn't take the payment. He said he was going to email me. Do you not take the payment?
No, they're supposed to take payment before they leave. Who was your handyman?
Oh, I told him to leave. I don't know his name, but I just basically told him to leave. I'm done. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, the opening was not. Do you care what happened or not really?
I'm
such a loaded question.
The office is not like their boss. We do the scheduling and whatnot.
Oh, but you didn't explain that.
We certainly care, but we're not who you need to speak to.
It's not needing to. Nobody. It's in our terms and conditions.
It's a rock and a hard place.
Common sense when it comes to handyman companies. I don't know.
No, I didn't know you were calling a handyman. I didn't know it was a handyman company. You know, yesterday when I called, you were really nice.
We're Breakthrough Handyman Services, ma'am. That's the name of our company.
Okay, it's funny when I called, you were really nice to get the business, but you don't want to hear about the person that employs.
No, ma'am, you're misunderstanding. Ma'am, I'm not arguing with you, but you're putting a lot of words in my mouth, ma'am.
No, I'm not. You just told me you're not their boss. Oh, I can see. Okay, you know what?
No, ma'am.
I've got so many followers. I'll take care of this myself.
So she's gonna bash us. But why? She's got so many followers, and they want to hear what they want to hear, and when they don't, we're wrong. Even though they agreed to our terms and conditions up front. And that's where they didn't have to agree to our terms and conditions. Nobody made them. You know what I mean? If they don't like the way we're set up, so be it. Don't use us. You know what I mean? But since you did agree to our terms and conditions, that was my first reaction right there. Like, ma'am, and when she said she kicked out the handyman, well, first she threw me off when she's like, "Don't you care?" And it's like, yes, ma'am. And it's like kind of like, I do care, but the handyman is the only person that can answer to his hours, why something went a certain way or not. And they're supposed to handle it while they're there on site. Okay, so after she hung up on me, I called the handyman. He was still on site working, and he didn't know any of this was going on. So she didn't even speak to him at that point in time. Or she might have, but it didn't come to a conclusion because he was still working. And so I told him to go ahead and wrap it up, blah, blah, blah. And it did not go well, okay, from there. And none of that makes sense, okay? And she had agreed to the hours. She agreed to 8 hours. I ended up sending her an email addressing each of her issues and calling her out because she said that we were in it just to maximize the time. Meanwhile, she was booked for 8 hours. She agreed to 8 hours. The guy was scheduled for 8 hours because of the work assigned. Each of them had a time. Each of them added up to a total of 8 hours. There was not 1 minute extra worked in. She agreed to it. That's the time that made sense. Meanwhile, she's saying that we're just there for hours trying to milk it. Okay? He was there. She kicked him out after 6 hours. We were only looking to collect on the 6 hours because that's when she kicked him out. We still don't know why. Never gave a reason. I ended up having to basically threaten her to release that video, that recording, plus the other recording of her original, where she agreed to everything. That's like an 8-minute call, so I'm not sure how I'm going to work that in, but she agreed to it. Every single step of the way, she agreed to our terms and conditions. She agreed to the time. She agreed to the price. She agreed to everything. Meanwhile, she went on Google, gave us a 1-star review, and lied every which way from Sunday. Okay? And so that's why I sent her the copy of these recordings and said, you need to remove your lies because you are bashing my company. Right? Bruce, the guy that's at her house, is a family man. Kids. Wife. Okay, he's there to make a living. He was there for 8 hours. That's a full day's worth of work. That's what the job said. He was working with it. Doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's fast forward to the next call, which is from yesterday. Now, this is a couple who we were called out to do 2 fans and a faucet, apparently. Okay, and Bruce showed up right on time, got to work, and well, let's go ahead and listen. I think this is tough. I'm not sure which one's the right order here because this one has three. Is this the right one?
Breakthrough Handyman Services. This is Josh. I can help you.
Yeah, hi. I did talk to you, I think, or someone else that gave me the estimates to come in Calgary home.
Oh, this is when she booked it. Okay, so this is when she got permission from her husband for the time, and they went ahead and booked the call. This is where she agreed to the times. She agreed to our terms and conditions, 24-hour cancellation policy, talking to the handyman, etc. Okay, so that's when she agreed. You always have to have the first one where they agree and you prove you did everything.
Breakthrough Handyman Services. Josh, I can help you.
Yeah, hi. This is and you guys sent someone today on Tanya Road. Tanya Road for 2 fans and 1. Well, the guy, he came at 8 o'clock and he wasn't familiar with installation of, and I told you guys our new fans. That's all I want to do is update. And to one of fans, he took like hour and a half.
2
hours.
2 hours.
One of them, and the other one he did it faster. So he didn't do the sink because it took him almost 3 hours.
3 hours.
2 fans. One of them he did it too long. The other one did it fast. So he left and he didn't do the sink. The socket. So now.
That's me. I'm calculating. An average fan takes 45 minutes. I didn't realize she could hear me talking.
So it's like, wow.
Well, ma'am, all that
Approximately
needed to be
an hour and a half,
addressed
2
with
hours.
your handyman. The office, it can't control how long things take or with any of the particular handyman on any of the jobs. That's why they handle all communication with you on site. They handle payment. They go over hours with you.
This is where I hear I'm defensive, okay? And this is my tone is not good. And that's part of my question in making these videos right now is I am uber defensive. I expect people to yell at me at this point. I expect rudeness, and I am defending my company. I'm defending my workers. I'm defending our policies, and I'm frustrated. At the end of the day, I go home feeling like I got punched in the face, hit by a bus. My guys talk to me afterward and they hear me and I'm like angry with them, but it's not always them. You know what I mean? It's just a horrible situation that I'm trying to figure out and fix. So here we go. And definitely I hear my tone, I hear my defensiveness, and I'm sure that I know that didn't help. Okay.
So I can
hopefully I bring it around here.
There you go. To address any questions you might have.
No, that's not going to help.
They handle payment. They go over hours with you. So I can have Bruce call you to address any questions you might have.
No, that's not going to help because of his knowledge. One of them, like I said, he finished for too long and he got used to it with the first one, and then the second one he finished for last time. So I'm getting burned here in the middle.
Ma'am, you're not getting burned, ma'am. Ma'am, the office can't control how long certain things take. There are thousands of different fans out there, ma'am. And that's why, ma'am, I let you speak, please. To call and vent to the office as if we can control anything is not the right thing to do.
I was trying to say I understand where she's coming from and why, but that came across bad.
As much as you want to vent and blame the office, all you simply needed to do was speak to the handyman.
Yes.
Okay? He would explain to you if a particular fan was going to take longer. It might have. And if you look at Bruce's history, clearly, he's on his Google history, he's installed hundreds and hundreds of fans. So to say he's incompetent or whatever doesn't mean anything.
Hey, can I talk for a second, Val? This is her husband last
night.
Before
you lower your voice,
what's your name?
Sir, you speak to me nicely.
You know what? I just been helping the guy to get him through. I've been helping.
I'm not being rude to you, sir. Don't call me
He's got
pal.
a great deal on
And I didn't interrupt you, sir.
Hey, fuck off, man. Listen to me when I'm talking, dude. I'm the
No,
customer.
sir. I will not be spoken to that way. I will not be spoken to that way. How do you want to believe, sir?
Hey, you know what? I won't if you're listening.
So, not my finest hour either. Want to understand why customers don't want to speak to their handyman. And they don't know our policies, and they assume the worst and literally sabotage what could be a wonderful thing. By speaking to the handyman, he'll answer questions. If he can do it, great. We'll schedule a comeback visit. We'll go over in time. We might credit them. We could offer a discount. That's the benefit of having 3 handyman. If he can't do it, we could send somebody else. But arbitrarily, just because things go over in certain circumstances by 20, 30 minutes, that's not intent. And that is quite factually probably the faucet, the spigot, the particular fan, the location of something. There's lots of odds and ends that might change it by like a half hour. Okay. So let's fast forward to, I think, the next one, because you'll see that this.
Handyman services. This is Josh Technology.
I think this is the first one. Yep. Okay, so let's go to this one.
I am.
Why? Where's your handyman services? This is Josh Technology.
Yeah, hi, this is Tatiana Goodman. You guys,
Okay, so it's this one. Sorry, these are lots of recordings, lots of phone calls.
This is a recorded call, Mr. Goodman.
yes, this is recording also from my phone, and I have you guys recorded on my phone, and you're saying you're gonna sue me? That is funny. You're bringing here rookie people
So,
and dealing with one fan alone for almost 3 hours.
one fan now, 3 hours.
And you're telling me I have no right to say anything? That's
That's not at all what anybody said, ma'am. Listen to the recording. I'm not going to argue.
My husband
Speak
tells
to your
me
handyman.
all the time. He came with not even the right ladder.
Ma'am, what did I say?
So that's probably a tip off that
Which-
she
I'm
had an
gonna
extra
cut-
high ceiling or something like that. That's probably why it took longer.
Ma'am, I'm interrupting you this time. What did we actually say you simply needed to do, ma'am?
You say it's not my problem. Deal with
What did we say you simply needed to do, ma'am?
What I'm going to do? Why you're saying collection? What's
What
the
did we
collection
say you
thing? I
simply
don't
needed to do, ma'am? It's a very
What I
simple answer. That is all I
Don't look at
said.
me like that.
Every other thing, ma'am, I don't even need to speak to you,
Sir.
okay? The way you spoke to us, there's nothing to be said, okay? You owe us money. It's that simple. Or you simply need to speak to your handyman, ma'am. Do you want us to forward you to the handyman? I have nothing to say to you. Your handyman did the work. He warranted your work. You were supposed to pay him at the end. He answers to everything at your house, ma'am. So far from it.
Yes, sir,
We
and I
warrant
told him
our
I
work,
wanna
and
pay.
he is responsible, ma'am. He is responsible. So rather than talk about him and complain to me, I am the office. Would you like to speak to your handyman? If not, don't ever call our freaking office again. You are the rudest couple we have ever encountered. And yes, ma'am, after being spoken to that way, I did forward it to our attorney. I didn't say I was going to sue you. I'm going to take you to collections properly because that's what we have.
I'll send you to the court.
Yeah. So
Go for it, ma'am. There's nothing to take to the court. You said he provided work and installed 2 fans. You owe us for the 2 fans he installed, ma'am. And if you have any complaints, you can speak to your handyman. No one is preventing you from following and speaking to the handyman.
I didn't say that. I didn't say you prevented.
Do you want to speak to the handyman, ma'am? Call us back if you want to speak to your handyman.
You're raising the voice.
So, not my finest hour again. And this is days and days and days of just getting yelled at. And it's not my finest hour. Okay. But people are not on the up and up. And that's this couple rubbed me the wrong way because the other lady the day before flat out lied. She said we didn't get approval for the hours. We did. She said we basically were trying to milk the hours. We so weren't. She was saying that she was just, her Google review really rubbed me the wrong way. That's why I sent her the recording proving everything. And so here we are 24 hours later, and I'm actively defensive because people, I think, are taking advantage of my company. People are trying to hurt my handymen. They work hard, they provide great service, and they really try their best. And for people to simply call after the fact and think that they can talk about them with no accountability, nothing to vouch for, right? And so we have to rely on the handyman taking payments and verifying happiness because they're the only person. It requires honesty, face-to-face, handyman, customer, right? They need to be honest with each other. It takes a lot to lie to somebody to their face, okay? And so if somebody calls the office, to vent about hours or whatever, we can't control that. We have no say. I can't tell them why it went over or even what the job was, right? It's up to the handyman. We do 40 jobs a week. It doesn't make sense that the 2 or 3 people scheduling in the office should know anything about the handyman jobs themselves, because all we do is book. Each handyman, Dave does his jobs, Marco does his jobs, Bruce does his jobs. We do have meetings here and there to talk about certain things, but each of them handle their own customers, right? There's no need to have a meeting after every single customer. That's stupid, right? So they follow policies, they do what they're supposed to do. So for a customer to call after the fact or refuse to make payment or anything like that, it is highly fishy because we guarantee our products and the handyman know how to handle these situations. So for her, eventually it came around, and I think there's probably 2 or 3 more phone calls from them total, where eventually I sent her the 3 hours because she said 3 hours. And then she said, he was only here for 2. He was only here for 2. So it's like, oh, so he was there for 2 hours to install 2 fans, which is on the longer side of normal, but perfectly okay. It was a 3-hour call or whatnot, and he would have finished the other faucet within that half hour to 45 minutes. So it was going to be within 15 minutes of its scheduled time. But all this instead, right? And she ended up paying. Okay, the lady from the day before removed her Google review because she was lying. These people paid for the time because it was valid. They were trying to get a discount. Okay, now those are people trying to take advantage of us, and that's probably why my feelers went off and why I fired back, because there's hundreds of phone calls where I'm not reactive and people don't trigger me. Certain times these people just do not seem to be honest. And tell me if you think the same thing here, because I'm not trying to be a rabble rouser, right? I want customers to be nice to us just as much as we have to be nice to customers, right? And it's not even necessarily being nice. You don't even have to be nice. You just have to be okay and then honest. That's the big thing. Okay, so today we got another call, and I had 2 guys on a job on Saturday, and they finished the job, they closed it out, took payment, did everything. Okay, so here we are Monday, no issues, no nothing. Job's completed. Okay, this is the guy's call.
Handyman Services. This is Josh. I can help you. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. That's the second call.
Breakthrough Handyman Services. This is Josh. I can help you. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, that's the redact. Okay, sorry. I just played the same video. Recording twice.
Breakthrough Handyman Services.
There we go.
This is Josh. I can help you. Hey, Josh. Who's Bruce? What's that? Do you have a Bruce? Yeah, he's one of our handymen. Okay, I never got an invoice. From, may I ask who I'm speaking with? From Saturday. Guys who came out to the house. Parati. Okay. Can I ask who I'm speaking with, please?
I didn't hear him say his name there. Bye-bye.
Mr. Parati. Oh, okay.
Hopping into the computer, trying to pull them up.
No, they didn't give me anything. I didn't sign anything, and you charged $607.
So we charged.
What do you mean? If we charged,
So we did get
definitely
something.
Got an invoice.
Something happened. Yeah.
I'm confused.
Dude, if I'm calling you and I've texted, I've done everything. I've 3 times. I've called you.
We don't have text, sir. We only have one office phone number. Not trying to be rude, but you don't need to be rude to me, sir. Okay, I'm the office. I'm here trying to help you.
Yeah, so he hung up. Okay. And I'm just trying to find him. It takes a few seconds, and he wasn't up front with who he was, right? So he calls back.
Handyman Services, this is Josh. I can help you.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I get this number I got 2 different phone numbers. One for a Brewster, a 772 number, and then he gives me this number.
Yes,
and I'm just trying to get an invoice. As long as I get an invoice. You know, sometimes you just don't. Your communication, you sound like you're all legit and everything, and then the problem is that when you get the credit card, I didn't sign anything, I didn't get an invoice, I didn't, they're sitting there talking to people from another appointment.
Let me go ahead and interrupt this and let me share my screen really fast, because forgive me, I haven't done this whole thing in a while. Go lower. Okay, share screen. Let's make this big. Share screen. There we go. Okay. So here is Mr. Perotti. Okay. Here's his profile. Right. Here's the job. Okay. Paid. Here's his invoice, the 4 hours, $596. Okay, but look at this. Okay, created invoice, August 5th. Okay, 8:57 a.m. August 5th, updated. Okay, and then paid on August 5th. Okay, and then Dave emailed it at 8:29 a.m. And then I guess he called saying he didn't get it, so Dave sent another one. Okay, so then here's me. Okay, he called, I sent it, and these 3 or so times were while he was on the phone with me, and I was trying to respond. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue, because sent twice on the 5th, and then the moment I got into it, I sent it, and then I let him talk again, and then I resent it again. Okay, so here we go. This is awesome.
They were supposed to have, and then, the guys, I think, they were trying their best. I think they were trying, but it's like, you also have to make sure that one thing I got to say, they were very much on time. But the point of it is when you don't communicate, I think you got a problem. And trust me, up here, when you're dealing with a bunch of these people up here, people talk. And then you said somebody's going to call me and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and, we're going to call you to make sure you give us a good Google review.
No, that's not what we said, sir. Can I please,
do that? Then we'll go ahead and just go ahead and, make sure everything's fine and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, well, nothing ever happened.
Yes, no, sir. No, you see, this is where, sir, all due respect, you called the office and you didn't even tell me your name before you were getting attitude. And I was simply trying to get to the bottom of it, because you're assuming a lot about my office, sir. Okay? So I'm going to take one chance to
whatever I want,
sir,
because
sir,
that's
I'd like
the way
to
I was
speak,
treated.
sir.
So, you know what? We'll all charge back.
Please, sir? No, sir. Sir, there's no fee. This is a recorded call, sir.
I don't really give a fuck what it is.
Now you're swearing.
Do your job. Just do your job.
Sir?
Send
Sir,
me an invoice.
Sir?
Send me a fucking
please
invoice,
respond.
you fucking idiot.
Wow, sir.
Wow, dumbass. Just do your job. That's what we're asking for.
I'm gonna,
just
sir.
want an invoice.
Sir?
Is that too much to ask?
Sir, can I respond just once after your insult?
You know what? If you have something intelligent to say, yeah, you can. But until then, I don't need to listen to you.
Sir, you haven't listened to me once, sir. And you've insulted me repeatedly on a recorded line.
Anything.
I'm gonna send you, sir. I'm trying to respond to you, sir. Nobody deserves to be spoken to the way you just spoke to me on a recorded line.
You know
and I'm gonna.
well, then you don't need to fucking do business in this area of town.
Can I
You fucking went back.
Sir?
Go fuck yourself,
Wow.
you fucking asshole.
Wow, sir, you have your invoice.
Wow, is that all you need to know how to say? Trust me, I'm going to make sure that this is done right.
Okay, sir.
I'll take you
And
to the
Mr. Parati,
Oh, fuck yourself.
this is a recorded, sir. What did I do to deserve your swearing and insult?
Okay, so there's that. All right. And then let's see. Is that the last one? There's the last one.
Breakthrough Handyman Services, this is Josh. I found it.
Okay, so 151, 51, 51. Which one's which? I'm all confused now. Forgive me.
What do you need?
Sir, we're going to broadcast this phone call so everybody knows you're a racist, whatever.
You know what?
So this is where my culmination, because after him, yeah, this is the one. Okay, so after everything, okay, he received his invoices. This whole thing is over him getting a receipt. He keeps calling it an invoice, but he paid his bill. He was happy with their services. They left. He even sent him 2 copies then. The moment he asked for it, I logged in once I found out and I sent it to him. It was already sent by the time he started swearing at me. And then when he started swearing, when I got off the phone, you could see I sent it again and again and again to make sure he did have it. And then after that other phone call. So ultimately, he's a racist. And then you're going to love this because it gets even better. Ready?
Also, everybody knows you're a racist, whatever.
You know what?
And
I
so
don't really care. You know what?
Great, sir. Have a wonderful day. You have your invoice?
Go suck a dick.
Yeah.
Suck a dick.
I'm sure you like to, sir.
Right, Rick.
That's why it's on the tip of your tongue, right? Yeah, and you're a
Why you
racist?
get it, sweetie?
You're a
Hey,
racist,
honey.
sir.
So, I am.
Yeah, oh,
There you go.
and you're a homophobe. Okay, keep going. This is
So, it's so funny because people that are like that, they're really just insecure and it's just kind of funny, but so 3 days in a row. Okay. Now I know I was not the best on these phone calls and I'm throwing myself under the bus, but I can tell you this. I'm trying and I want to have pleasurable conversations with people and we do our best. As a handyman company, it really does boil down to each handyman being accountable for their work. And that is the way it should be. And our handymen are great and they want to do a good job. And that's why they go for the reviews and they verify happiness and then they take payment. And it guarantees honesty, right? We do have a 24-hour cancellation policy because we do need the notice. If he wakes up and loses a 6-hour job, that's 1/5 of his paycheck gone. And we do need 24 hours notice and we do charge a small 1 hour. Okay. And we want to be of service for that 1 hour. We always want to be of service for the 1 hour. We never just want to arbitrarily charge a fee. So even the lady that had an issue the other day, previous, the one that I think that started this a couple days ago, truly, we rescheduled her appointment and we're crediting her back half of her same day cancellation fee, right? We proved she was just arbitrarily canceling. And then they try to make excuses about the appointment not even being scheduled. And it still was. There was no question. That's why we record everything. That's my point is people twist to get what they want rather than just being honest and dealing with the reality of what is. All right. You may not want to speak to the handyman, but I guarantee once you do, we'll get to the bottom of it. Okay. Even if it's not the same handyman coming back to fix it, he will honestly dictate how you should be taken care of. Okay. If he worked for 3 hours, you think he only worked 2, you two need to come to a solution because the office was not there. We support both of you and we'd like to think that our handyman is honest and that the customer wants what's truly there too. Nobody's trying to take advantage of each other. That's what we assume and what we hope for. So let me know your thoughts. I'm debating on whether or not I really want to throw these people out for being horrible to people, but I know I play a role in it. So I just wanted people to hear it. And please give me your thoughts. And I have a lot to learn too, and I'm going to try my best. Thanks, guys.